Hello and welcome to the 3 Keys to Success in Business. My name is Ross Pepper and I'm really looking forward to spending the next hour with you. So hopefully most of the people on here, if not all of you, are small business owners. So I've got a question to ask you as we get started here today. It's not going to be terribly interactive. We've only got an hour together and this is, I guess, an online presentation and it's hard to, I guess, get your verbal responses quickly enough to be able to respond. If I do see questions pop up, I will certainly respond to those as much as I can. If I don't get to all your questions during this hour, then please allow me to answer those afterwards. So why now and why me? What challenges are you currently facing? So what's happening in your business that's encouraged you to be here today? And it might be for some of you, maybe you're just starting a new business. So you're just looking for whatever tips you can get your hands on to get started. So what challenges are you currently facing? And what are your expectations from this hour? What are you hoping to get out of it? What are you hoping to do, learn, or achieve as a result of spending this hour together? So I know that you could be doing anything right now. You could be spending time with family, you could be watching some TV, relaxing, or maybe having dinner. So you've decided to invest this hour in yourself and your business. So being clear about what you hope to get out of it will help you to get that out of it today. If you're not sure what that is, just as I'm talking for the next couple of minutes, take a moment for yourself to get clear about what it is that you want to get out of today so you can actually look to get that out of today. So who am I? I know there's going to be a lot of people on the call today that I haven't met before. So who am I? Well, my name is Ross Pepper. I've been running my own businesses for over 20 years. I'm a family man. I'm married to a beautiful wife. We've been married for over 8 years. And we have 2 beautiful boys aged 5 and 6. And what have I done? Because that's probably what's more relevant to you than who I am. Well, before I started business coaching, I was a life coach. I'd been doing that for about 2 years before taking on my first business coaching client. And I helped them take their business from $35,000 to $1.5 million in just 4 months. And that was when I knew everything that I'd been doing to this point worked. I'd spent several years studying and investing in marketing. In fact, it was probably close to about $500,000 that I'd invested in creating my own 7-step marketing system. Including all the study and everything that I put together, I developed my own 7-step marketing system that was based off every bit of marketing I could find anywhere on the planet. And I even wrote the book on it. So that's what I've done. And hopefully that's a brief enough introduction to give you an idea why you might want to hang around. So who do I help and how? I work with business owners who want to grow their businesses. 3 things stand out for growth in business. Your mindset, your knowledge, and your clarity, all of these things are critical to achieving what you want. So I help people get clear on their path, learn what they need to, and align your mindset to achieve it. And mindset is one of the 3 things that we'll be talking about today because it is so critical to the success of anything we do. So hopefully that's enough about me. And hopefully by now you've got an idea of what you're hoping to get out of today. So let's talk about the 3 keys. What are the 3 keys? The first one is mindset. And as I just mentioned, virtually everything we do comes down to our mindset. Our mindset includes things like our values, which determine what we do. If we value money, then we'll create actions in our life to create money. If we don't value money, the actions in our lives will not likely create money. So our mindset is critical to everything we do. Anything you want to achieve anywhere in your life, your mindset will always play a primary part in creating that outcome. The second key to success in business is cash flow. Doesn't matter how big or small a business is, if it doesn't have cash flow, it will have to close its doors. Excuse me. Cash is the lifeblood of your business. You need money for everything. And one way to look at it is that you're not a charity. But even if you are a charity, and there's charities listening to this, you also know that you can't survive without cash flow. You need the money for everything you want to do. At its barest minimum, you need to at least be able to pay wages and the registration of your business. So if you're self-employed and this is your only income, then you need to know that you've got enough cash flow coming in to pay for that. And then, of course, we've got all the other expenses in a business as well. You need to drive a car, all the expenses associated with that. If you've got a website, if you've got a phone, everything adds up, and these are just the barest minimum. So cash flow is the second critical key to success in business. So what's the third? The third one is leverage. Because once you've got your mindset and your cash flow, to really grow a business, you really want to be able to create some great leverage. Leverage will help you get anywhere faster. And you can see the little picture down there, 5 kilograms lifting 100 kilograms. And that's what we really want to do. We really want to create some serious leverage. There's a saying, small business owners work 80 hours a week so they don't have to work 40. So if you're working 80 hours a week in your business so that you don't have to work 40, this is where you can probably get the most result for creating the leverage to shortcut it. Because what is the impact of that sacrifice on your life? If you have a family and you're working 80 hours a week, how much of your family do you actually get to see? So even if you're financially successful, there's still always an impact. So the three keys: mindset, cash flow, and leverage. So let's talk about leverage further. What I've done is I've broken down each of these three keys into 5 areas. I guess the 5 areas that really make the biggest impact to each of these keys. So if you want to create leverage, you really want to get clear about that. So the first leverage point is clarity. If you haven't got a business plan, it's probably a really good idea to create one. There's that saying, if we don't know where we're going, how are we going to get there? So always start with the end in mind. And your business plan should help you create what that is. If you've already got a business plan, have a look over it again. See if it's still appropriate. See if it needs any changes, updates, and whether or not you're on track. The other thing about this, about creating clarity, is self-management. So if we know where we're going as an end goal, are the daily actions taking us to that location? Is what we're doing on a daily basis creating our greater goal? Because it's so easy to get caught up in what we think needs to be done because it's urgent versus what's critical to actually take us where we want to go. Win-win. When you're looking and talking about leverage, creating win-win opportunities is critical to that outcome. As a business owner, it can be easy to just look for a win for ourselves, regardless of other people. And there's a lot of businesses out there that do that. They look out for themselves only. But there's drawbacks to that. The main one is it's always hard work. And who wants business to be harder than it needs to be? So looking for win-win opportunities is the best way to create some serious leverage. When you've got two people working on the same outcome, you're going to get there faster. What's that old saying that many hands make light work? So everywhere you can, look for a win-win opportunity. If you are a sole trader, it's often a good idea to potentially get involved with a partner, such as a life partner, a husband or wife. Some of the, I guess, the most successful businesses I know do have that partnership. And I understand that there can be challenges with that if you are getting someone else on board. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move into the third point here, which is to outsource or delegate. So part of a win-win partnership is looking for other people to support you. And if you're going to outsource or delegate some of the tasks in your business, because let's face it, the moment you start your own business, you need to be everything in the business. Absolutely everything. You know, you're not just the person who does the end product. So let's assume that you are an electrician, say. You're not just an electrician now. If you're the only person in your business, you need to take care of the books, you need to take care of the marketing, the sales, the advertising, all the paperwork, everything within the business. So you're not just a technician anymore. You now need to do everything in the business, or outsource or delegate it. And the faster you can outsource and delegate those tasks, the better. If you can do them from day one, outsource them, do that. Because the biggest challenge you're going to have is stretching between your time. And you'll notice that when you start doing some of these tasks, like let's assume you start doing your books. If you're not an accountant and you're doing your books, you need to learn how to do that. You need to learn all the systems and the tools and the tasks and everything around that. And that takes time. Whereas that time could possibly be better spent somewhere else, such as attracting a new customer. So outsourcing or delegating is the first leverage point in your business. As you outsource and delegate, two little tips to help you. The first one is to get clear on the purpose. So if you're asking someone to do a task, be clear on the outcome you want them to achieve for you. Otherwise, they might approach it differently and give you a result other than what you wanted. And we might think it's really simple, but I'll give you a really basic story about something that happened to me. I had someone come and work for me, and I wanted to show them how to use the hole punch, because I was quite particular about the way I wanted it to be used, the way it was lined up. I wanted to make sure there was no paper wastage and things like that. So anyway, I said, "Oh, do you want me to show you how to use that?" And they actually got upset, and they angrily said to me, "I know how to use a hole punch." So I said, "Okay," and I left them to it. After they'd gone home, I went to put away all the work and things they'd done, and I discovered that although they'd claimed they know how to use a hole punch, they'd wasted an enormous amount of paper putting holes that were in random directions across the side of the page, and half the holes weren't even on the page. So that paper couldn't even go into a clip folder. So I had to throw out all that paper and put it in the recycling bin and then reprint. So I wasted time, resources, money, and an impact on the environment. So get really clear about the purpose, and number two, setting the rules and the context around that. So that I was clear about what wanted to happen, I hadn't got clear for them exactly what needed to happen. And I get that using something like that should be pretty simple, but that was the impact. So number one, get really clear on your purpose. And number two, make sure you set clear rules and context. Number four, your systems. Number four is systems, and number five is processes. Your systems and your processes are another great leverage point, especially as your business grows. When you're doing everything yourself, you've kind of got a bit of a handle for it, and you've got your own way of doing it. But know that that's not always the best way of doing it either. I remember working with one business owner, quite successful, and they employed someone to handle a few of their in-office tasks. And the first thing they discovered was that there were better ways of doing things. They found that the person they'd employed was so much faster, even though they were proud about how fast they were achieving certain tasks. So it was great when they finally gave in and employed someone to do those tasks. They found out what was available in the way of leverage. Sorry, if you can hear me drinking here, it's because obviously I'm talking, and I've also, I don't know if you can hear, I've got a bit of a blocked nose as well. So please excuse me if you do hear me sipping. Your systems include your online and your offline ones. They can also be physical systems and devices. There's a lot of things out there that can actually serve your business. The processes, number 5. Repetition creates consistent results. I'll say that again. Repetition creates consistent results. So create processes that need to be followed within your business to create consistent results. That includes for yourself as well as for staff, so that you can get those consistent results. And repetition, when refined, will create consistently better results. So what I mean by that is, if you refine your processes that you've actually got, build a process for yourself. Don't just do it by memory every time. Create the process and think about someone else having to do it and what you can do to improve the process so you can consistently get better results as well. And I have an action for you. At the end of each of the keys, I'm going to have an action for you to take to help you get benefit from what we've spoken about today. So the first action I want you to take for key 3, leverage, is to actually do some planning. If you already have a business plan, review it. If you don't have a business plan, quickly write one, because that's the first thing that you need to have to know where it is that you're going. And on a daily basis, make sure you plan your day. You'll notice when I talked about clarity, that one of those points was self-management. Being able to know where we're going on a daily basis will help us reach our end goal. How do you constantly stay focused on the most important task every day, every moment? How do you know your day was well spent and took you closer to your end goal? Plan. So let's talk about key number 2, cash flow. So I already briefly mentioned that cash flow is the lifeblood of your business. There are so many businesses that we thought were doing really well, and then they closed their doors, or something happened and their cash flow stopped and they closed their doors. A couple of really clear and I guess great examples of this would be Kodak. Kodak was a really big company. It's been a big company for a long time, supplying film to the movie industry. Consistently, I'd see movies saying Kodak as being the film that they use. And I saw this movie after movie. And even after Kodak went under, Because unless you've got someone to sell to, you're not going to be able to make a sale. And your business will always rely on your ability to attract consistent, steady stream of new customers. So that's what you need to do with your marketing. You're looking for consistently delivering and attracting new customers. And number 2 is sales. Sales is your ability to convert those customers. So as your business attracts new customers, your ability to sell them is then going to become important. But even if your sales conversion rate is not very high, if you know what it is, with marketing, you can attract more customers. If you know that, let's say you converted 1 out of 10 customers and you wanted to get 10 customers, you would then know that you needed to attract 100 customers. So you could do the marketing to make that happen. So a lot in business is a numbers game. It's not much more than that, other than, well, this is my conversion rate. I need more customers. This is how many I need to attract. What do I need to do to make that many come in? So your marketing is going to be the first critical point on your cash flow. You need to be able to consistently attract a steady stream of customers. And I actually intentionally say steady there, not just a lot of customers, but a steady stream of customers. Because as your marketing goes up and down, like people talk about, you know, and there are seasonal effects and things as well, and they'll all have a play on your business. But if you can consistently attract a steady stream of customers, then it's going to even out the workflow in your business. So that's really what you're looking to do, to even that out as much as possible. During quiet times, you need to increase your marketing efforts, your marketing effectiveness, to attract more customers. So pricing. So marketing and sales, attracting your customers, converting them into paying, and then pricing. So why is pricing different? I put pricing as a point of its own because it's an important element of cash flow. Are you priced at the bottom of the market, the top of the market, or somewhere in the middle? And wherever you are at any of those points, my question to you is why? Why have you priced yourself at that point? At the bottom, you're always going to be competing on price, if that's what people are looking for. And that means that your margins are going to be really low, and it's going to be hard to make a profit unless you've found a way to systemize your business in such a way that it gives you an edge. And it makes pricing a really great marketing tool. If you're at the top, you may make fewer sales. But you might, even though you make fewer sales, you'll probably be making a lot more money on each of those, so you may not need as many. But wherever you're priced, be clear about why that is. And make sure your pricing allows you to be profitable. I understand the theory of going into business and just trying to get whatever business you can and cutting your price just to land the job. But be really careful about doing work that costs you more than the delivery. Whether you're a new business or an established business, I'm surprised how often I see this happen. I was working with a client for a couple of years, and I was a bit curious about some of his pricing. He always assured me that there was plenty of profit in each of his jobs, but I wasn't convinced. So we actually had a look, and we broke down some of his jobs, and he grabbed one for me that he said was highly profitable. And we had a look at it. We broke it down, and he'd actually made a loss on that job. And I don't know how many other jobs he was making a loss on. But the ability to analyze the pricing on a job that he thought in his mind had plenty of profit in it and discover it wasn't profitable was a really big eye-opener. And that was a starting point of some significant changes to the way he looked at his finances in his business. At the end of the day, it had a massive difference and massive impact on the profits. In fact, he even stopped doing some job types because he discovered they weren't profitable. Number 4, expenses. Well, expenses is clearly going to be an important part of your cash flow process. Expenses can often get out of control or just not looked at. You can have a business that you think is doing reasonably well, but you're leaking money all over the place. You know, there might have been a handful of different subscriptions or anything that you set up when you're making your business, and they just roll on paying month after month, and you don't think too much about them. There's all sorts of places where expenses can be out of control in a business. Perhaps you've got staff and there's no rules around what your staff do in your business, and they all just do their own ordering. So instead of having, you know, enough pens for everyone, you look in people's desks and they've got a pile of pens. There's enough in one person's drawer to be able to take care of everyone. So keeping an eye on your expenses is a really good idea, but only a small amount of time. The other mistake you can make when you cash flow is to spend too much time looking at expenses. Because while you're looking at expenses, you're not creating or generating new income for your company. So spending too much time on looking at expenses is a really bad idea too. So look at them occasionally and get clear about them, and then move on. Cut out anything that's not necessary, that's not critical, and anything you can do without, and then immediately get back to growing your business. And number 5, profits. So how profitable is your business? And is that profit before or after wages? It's very common for business owners, so whether you run it yourself and it's just you, or whether you've got employees, but to actually consider your wage to be the profits at the end of the day. So at the end of the year, when your business hopefully makes a profit, then you take your wage. If that is the case, I suggest you actually have a look at that and consider doing that differently and work out a wage before profits. So then you can look at the real cost of actually running your business. So where can you improve profits in your business? And knowing what the real costs are after your wage can be a great starting place to encourage you to look at that. Because most business owners who take their wages after the calculated profit often don't make the money that they really would like to from their business. So I suggest you look at flipping that around and actually having a wage in there for yourself so that you know the true cost of running your business. So what's our action piece for cash flow? My advice here is to just get educated. Education is one of the best things you can do around your cash flow. We're not taught about how to manage money at school. It's very rare that there's any kind of education that we get throughout our life on how to make money, keep money, manage our expenses, and increase our profits. So my advice here is to just get educated. There's a book I'll recommend as well. The book is called Profit First, and it's by a gentleman by the name of Mike Michalowicz. So the book is called Profit First. A really great book to help you look at how to manage the cash flow in your business. So awesome resource. By the way, if there is a specific challenge that you do have in your business and you're looking for a book, let me know. Send me a message. I'll give you my details at the end of this. Send me a message and let me know what it is. I'm not going to send you a list of 20, 30, 40, 50 books I recommend, because the one that you want might be the 20, 30, 40th or 50th one. So send me very specifically the challenge that you have and tell me that you're looking for a book to solve that. And if I know a book or two, then I'll let you know specifically what those books are so you can get the right help on what you need right now. So key 1, mindset. Mindset is easily the most important element of successful business. Your mindset will every day create your results. What you value what you focus on, what you do, how you think, everything about your mindset creates your results. And the last piece where I said get educated, knowledge actually doesn't necessarily have an impact on mindset. Knowing something doesn't mean that you're going to do it. Let me give you an example that is outside of business. Normally I use the example of, I use everything I know and I teach someone everything I know about marketing so they can be incredibly successful, and they don't implement it. They've got all the knowledge they ever needed around marketing and they don't implement it. But I actually want to give you a more simple example than that. The example I want to give you is the one of being overweight. Everyone on the planet basically knows what they need to do. We simply eat less or eat better and exercise more. That's all we need to do to stay fit and healthy. But right across the globe, we're getting fatter and fatter. Now, obesity is becoming a serious problem. And that's regardless of knowledge. We've never been clearer about what it takes to stay fit and healthy. The knowledge that's available now around your diet, food, and things like that, and the different exercises that can be done, the knowledge that we now have is extraordinary. And everyone on the planet knows that all we got to do to stay fit is to eat better and exercise more. And yet if you have a look around, as a population, we continue to get fatter. So knowing something doesn't create the result. So knowledge and mindset are very different. Getting educated on something can give you an awareness, and awareness is the first step to making change. But understand that knowledge is not mindset. And taking charge of your mindset will make the biggest impact on your life every moment, every day, year after year. So what's the first thing? The first one is motivation, or otherwise called self-leadership. Motivation and self-leadership don't always get put together, but I want to be super clear for you that motivation is self-leadership, or leadership of self. I remember reading a quote from an author, and it went something like this. Someone asked him the question, somewhere along the lines of, is it hard to write? You've written so many books. How do you stay motivated to do that? And he said, you're right. It's really important for me to write every day. And to write every day, I need to get motivated. So I make sure I'm motivated at 9 o'clock to start writing every single day. So they took responsibility for themselves to be motivated and write every day regardless. And that is self-leadership. The ability to lead yourself is critical to produce the results that you want. Any result that you want that is greater than you've got right now will require you to lead yourself to it. There's that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that's because knowledge isn't mindset. So teaching someone something is different to having them implement it. So my hope for you is, as you listen to this, you understand that what I'm teaching you is knowledge, and it requires action and implementation to make use of it. So number 2, mission and purpose. The reason this is in here is because so much of our drive and motivation we can attribute it to having a mission and a purpose. A strong and inspiring mission and purpose is one of the fastest ways to motivate us to do something. The story I heard the other day, someone shared it on stage, and they said that what a mother will do when a child is in danger is extraordinary. They're clear on their mission and purpose. And I'm not saying it needs to be as extreme as that, but understand that that is someone who's clear about their mission and purpose, and they'll do anything. So if you have a mission and purpose, if you choose your mission and purpose to make an extraordinary difference, however that might look, mission and purpose can be one of the fastest ways to get yourself motivated. So if you don't know what your mission or purpose is, my advice is to choose it, and choose it today. Choose your mission and purpose. And if tomorrow or another day it doesn't inspire you enough, choose another one. Because a person on a mission will create so much more impact than someone who just wants to do something, thinks it's a good idea. Get a really clear mission and purpose. And don't expect it to be given to you. That's not how it works. You know, we don't get ordained with a mission and purpose or big fanfare. We choose it. And don't worry about it being the perfect one, because it's perfect because you have one. So choose your mission and purpose and give it everything you've got. Number 3 is 100% responsibility. And to be honest, I possibly should have put this one first as the number 1 mindset element, 100% responsibility. Because this one is so critical. And I could talk about it all day long, really. But to sum it up for now, nothing's going to change unless you change it. So if you want your business results to be different than what they are now, this is an awesome start. You've taken responsibility to be here and listen to this, and it's an awesome start. But know that the moment this finishes, it's still your responsibility. Okay, the moment this finishes, I'm off to have dinner and tuck my kids in if they're not already in bed. But the moment this finishes means that I won't be there with you. So who's going to be there to keep you responsible? At the end of the day, that's you. No matter who you get on your team, at the end of the day, it is always going to be you taking responsibility for your results. And 100% responsibility for them. And we'll talk a bit more in a moment. There's a model I want to share with you. But know that blame and justification is not the result you want. And it can be tough. And in those tough times, your mission and your purpose will help you to stay on track. But nothing more than 100%, nothing less than 100% responsibility will get it done for you. Take the right action. Wasn't sure how to word this one. I did have take massive action in there, but I've changed it to take the right action. And maybe I should be putting both in there. Take massive amounts of the right action. Think of a shuttle launching. To get that space shuttle off the ground takes a lot of energy. Your business is that space shuttle. And maybe you're already at that point. Maybe you're already broken the atmosphere and your business is flying. Know that each of these still apply. Your mindset will still be the ultimate determinant of how fast it grows from this point forward. I had a client that came to me, I think I mentioned it just before, and he'd laid out his goals for the next 5 years. He was currently at $35,000. Over the next 5 years, he was slowly growing his business, but eventually it was going to become a $1.5 million business. But the growth was at the end of those 5 years. Really slow growth. Like the next year was meant to be from 35, was meant to go to 45. Really slow growth to start with. All the acceleration was at the back end, which is similar to a shuttle. But when we looked at it, he had the mindset to achieve it. I guarantee you he would have achieved his $1.5 million in 5 years. But his mindset was what was making it 5 years, not 4 months. When we sat together and had a chat about his business. And I got really curious about his mindset because of that slow growth. And he shared with me some of his mindset challenges. He didn't know they were challenges. To him, they were just beliefs that served him. And the first one of those was that it's possible to grow a business too quickly. With a belief that it's possible to grow a business too quickly, he was stunting the growth of his business. So we tore out that mindset, replaced it with a better one, and he was able to grow his business to 1.5 million in 4 months, saving him over 4.5 years. So regardless of where your business is at, whether it's just beginning or whether it's already flying, your mindset will always determine the results. So be clear on the action you need to take. Take the right action, because massive action in the wrong place will not generate the result you want. So going back to key number 3 with your leverage, getting clear about what it is that you want to do. Getting clear about how you're going to do it. And take massive amounts of the right action. But even if you don't know the exact right action, knowing that your energy is invested in the right place is the right action. Because massive amounts of that action you will learn quickly, change, and implement for the right results. And number 5, employee mindset and culture. So when we spoke about leverage, I said your employee mindset and culture is also critical. So your employee mindset and culture. When you're talking about leverage, we need to know how people are thinking. So if we're going to be delegating, the mindset and the culture of who we delegate to is going to have an impact. And if you have a team, especially a big team, you need to be serious about the mindset that's there. So if this applies to you, if you don't have employees, then keep this in mind. This is critical to the success of your business. For those people that do have a team and haven't solved the employee mindset and culture, this will always be an issue for you. In fact, you'll be stuck here with it until you solve it. So figuring out how to create a mindset and a culture in your business for your employees, whether they're outsourced or together or however your business looks, that is critical to the continued success and growth of your business. And your action here for key 1 mindset is to get yourself a coach or a mentor. Find someone who can support you to continue growing you. Your mindset will always determine your results. So find someone who can help you with that. If you're looking for someone, you can reach out to me. Otherwise, find someone else in your life to fulfill this role for you. Someone that can help you get you to the next level. So let's talk more about mindset, because there's a few things in here that are really going to highlight for you potentially some big challenges that you might be facing in your business right now as a result of your mindset. The first one of those that I want to share with you is called spiral dynamics. Spiral dynamics was developed some time ago by a gentleman by the name of Claire Greaves. And he discovered that the human race was going through, I guess, almost an evolution. And the first one of those stages was survival. So if we think about caveman, they were in a state of survival. And what they cared about were their basic needs, food and shelter. And they would fight over basic needs of food and shelter. These days, that's rarely the case. You know, homeless people are still here, still in a state of survival. They have their basic needs, food and shelter, and you may find them fight over those things, the food and shelter. But it's highly likely. But once we've figured out how to make sure we're fed and we're sheltered, And in a lot of the, the first world countries across the world, this is taken care of even if you don't have employment. So it becomes very easy to move to our next level, which is tribe. Once you've figured out how to solve your basic needs for food and shelter, then you move on to tribe. At the tribe, a great example of tribe is the family unit, for example. Tribe is all about belonging. And as a result of the need to belong, there'll be a series of unwritten rules. So I remember growing up as a kid, our butter seemed like a really weird one to remember, and I guess it is. So if you have a look at our tub of butter at home, I would get in trouble if I ever left any crumbs in it. I'd have to make sure I cleaned out the crumbs, and there were no holes dug into the butter or anything like that. And I remember that I'd get in trouble about that. But when I went to a friend's house, it was totally different. Their tribe had a different way of doing with the butter. There were holes in it, and there was crumbs right through it. And it was completely different. And that was okay. And that was a really great example of the unwritten rules that we have in our tribes. So our sense of belonging and doing what's required to fit into your tribe. And that's why when we go to school, we create tribes again. And in Australia, most of the population is at the tribal level or 2 levels on from here at control. So tribe or control. So what does that mean? If you're one of the many, many people in the world who is at this tribal level, what does that mean for you as a business owner? One of the drawbacks of being at this level is blame and justification is a big part of the way we operate. We like to blame what happened on something else. That old saying, the dog ate my homework. The dog ate my homework is a very tribal level 2 behavior. So if you are tribal in your behavior and you use blame and justification, if we go back to mindset, you won't be taking 100% responsibility, which is the third one in there, which I said should probably be the first. Which means the issue is that you're going to have reasons and excuses instead of the results you want in your business. So if you're challenged to do the actions that you need to get the results, know that this is why, and you need to get your solution for that. You need to find a way out of this into the next level. The next level is the warrior. The warrior will take what they want. Back in, I guess, caveman days, someone sees the watering hole they've got and it's not very good. They have a look at the watering hole over at the next tribe, and that's a good looking water hole. So the warrior goes and takes it. The warrior will go and get what they want. And as a business owner, to be successful, it can be very challenging if you haven't found your warrior. Now, there's more levels on past this, and we'll continue to talk about them so you know that the elements help you identify the challenges you're facing. Excuse me. But right now, understand that the warrior will do what it takes to get what they want. If you want your business to be successful, you need to be ready to fight for your business. You need to do whatever it takes to be successful, because every 2 years, 50% of small businesses close their doors. Typically because of cash flow, because they didn't bring their warrior to do what it takes to be successful. Cash flow is a symptom of the mindset challenge that they were facing. 50% every 2 years. Regardless of how long the business has been around, there's a 50% chance you're going to close your doors. Your first 12 months is the biggest drop because they don't bring their warrior. So know that you need to take 100% responsibility in your business to be successful. The moment you blame or justify or have an excuse, that excuse wins and your business loses. So do what it takes to be successful in your business. Okay, control. Now, warriors, by the way, are uncooperative. They're, as a typical warrior, they're often uncooperative and hard to deal with. If you have them in your business as an employee, then know that the best way to help them get in alignment with your business is to figure out what they want out of life and align it with the goals of the business. So in other words, how does your business serve their purpose? You know, if their purpose is to make a certain amount of money, then how does working for you make that happen? Whatever their purpose is, find out what it is and align the two, and they'll be on board. So control. Organized, systemized. The control, they're in control. Everything in the business is organized and systemized. These people will achieve KPIs if they're employees. You'll notice that they achieve KPIs consistently. This is a great level for people running their own businesses. If you're not here, as I said, you're going to find challenges in your business. But at least be the warrior. Go and fight for your business. Go and do what it takes. Get outside your comfort zone. Do the uncomfortable if you need to, so that you can be truly successful in business. Let me just take another sip. Okay, so control, organized and systemized. A great example of this is the government. The government is very much at this level, the level of control. They've got rules and regulations that are very, very clear. And you can't step outside of them or you get in trouble. The other things to notice about this, I guess I've used colors here as well. And the color blue for control. And if you look at our society, great examples of this are the police force. The police force wear blue for trust. Okay, so blue is trust. The reason it's trust is because everything is systemized and controlled. You know what to expect. So at this level, a systemized business will be very clear. There'll be rules, regulations, and things like that. And once you've reached this level, you've overcome the challenges of the previous levels. So someone at the level of control is capable of bringing their warrior when needed. I'm going to take you on to the next two levels. I'm going to do them a little bit quicker because they're potentially less relevant. The main reason is that if you are tribal in your mindset, I really want you to understand that mindset is going to be your biggest challenge, clearly your biggest challenge. Warrior, you will do what it takes, hopefully, to be successful in business. At control, you'll be able to systemize and things like that. What you'll really be looking for, though, at the control level is for win-win opportunities. Okay, that win-win we spoke about, the leverage, that's where you're really going to get the most value. The entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is looking for money. There's not really any other way to do it. Now, I've called it entrepreneur because it's about the money. Know that the way we look at an entrepreneur in modern society might not be exactly the same as what I'm using it for here. Okay, so if you have a particular vision of an entrepreneur that doesn't include money, understand that the way I've used it here is money. There's no ifs, there's no buts about that. It is money all the way. So the entrepreneur here is money. But they do it through win-win. Another thing worth noticing, the odd numbers, so survival, warrior, and entrepreneur, it's about self. Okay, survival is about getting food and shelter for yourself. Warrior is about taking what you want, and the entrepreneur is about making money. You want to be rich. If you want to give back, that's the next level. Okay, but this money is about you. Because what happens is when you get to this, once you've gone through the control and everything's kind of systemized and you're getting results you want, you might decide you want more out of life. And the vision of that then will be, I want money. So you're going to go out and probably look at ways to create wealth, like big wealth, serious money. You're not looking at contributing back. But if you make so much money that you now have more money than you know what to do with, you're likely to think, oh, so money's not the answer to happiness. I had what I thought I wanted. I've gone and made all the money I could ever dream of, and I'm still not fulfilled. So after entrepreneurial level is contribution. And this is giving back on a global scale. So if you made more money than you need, you'll be giving back. But this is giving back, as I said, on a global scale. You've got the money to do it. And if you have a look at the wealthiest people throughout history, typically, once they've made lots of money, they then go to contribute on a global scale. So a lot of very wealthy people, it doesn't matter if they're in business or in music or how they made their wealth, quite often once they've made more money than they know what to do with, they'll start giving back on a global scale. So that's the model to help you understand where your mindset is, the challenges you'll be having, and the opportunities to help your business grow. So I hope that was useful. More questions about it, do let me know. So we're now going to talk about building habits. We're coming towards the end now. As I said, mindset's your key one. So I'm focusing on this today to help you get your mindset right so that you can grow your business. I'm looking for rapid growth in your business with leverage and win-win ways to make that happen. So the next mindset thing I want to talk about, how to build good habits. Because so much in life is a result of the way we think. As I said, things like values and habits that we build. You know, we've got a habit, it's something we do consistently. We don't really need to think about it. There's no energy expenditure. We just kind of do it and it's done. You know, there might be things that we don't necessarily enjoy, but because we've built a good habit around it, we simply get those things done. For example, driving a car. You know, driving a car becomes a habit such that it's really common that somebody's been driving. Now, I don't recommend it, but this happens. It's a really common experience for people who've been driving car for a long time. They arrive at a location and then they have the thought, how did I get here? I actually don't remember driving most of this way. I started driving and then I kind of zoned out and here I am at my destination. They've built that habit so that it happens on autopilot. And that's the power of habits. And although I don't recommend it, understanding it can be really useful. So building habits around things we don't enjoy, and this is how we do it. So they've got 4 quadrants here. The top left one is what's good for us. It's good for our business, it's good for others, and it's good for the greater good. And you know what? Doing it feels good. So these are things that we do that are good. They create a good result. They're good for us. They're good for business, etc. And we actually feel good when we do them. And this could be different for different people. Excuse me. An example that I guess is a great one for Australia. We're very generous giving people. So giving donations to people, you know, to worthy causes. They're good for us. They're good for our business, others, the greater good, and they feel good. But then on the other side of that, there's stuff that is good for all these, us for others and business, etc. But they don't necessarily feel good. And one of the best ways to highlight these two is to talk about exercise. People who do exercise for the first time, they know it's good for us. They know it's, you know, health is going to be good for business. It's going to be good for others. It's going to be good for the greater good. But the first time you start hitting the gym, it doesn't necessarily feel good. In fact, you probably feel exhausted, tired, sore, and it doesn't feel good. But you go to that gym for long enough and you build the habit. And before you know it, it starts feeling good. Each time you hit the gym, you feel great. In fact, it feels bad when you don't go to the gym because you've developed a habit. And anything that's good for us is worth pushing through what feels bad to create that good habit. So let's assume you need to do some door knocking for your business. You know, hopefully that's not the best form of marketing, but let's say it is. You know, maybe you're a real estate agent, you need to get started in an area, so door knocking is the best way to get started. But door knocking doesn't necessarily feel good. In fact, getting rejected house after house can feel pretty bad. But you keep building that habit, and those doors you knock on as you start getting more and more acceptances can start to feel good. and you can get high off that, and you get your little wins, and you can build rapport with people. And it really starts to feel good when you go and knock on someone's door and you have that rapport, and then they say, hey, look, I'm thinking about selling my house. So repetition creates habit. So what's on the other side of this? It's the stuff that's bad. Bad for us, bad for business, bad for others, bad for everyone. It either feels good or it feels bad. This is where addiction sits. So be careful if you're doing stuff that's bad for you. Smoking is a great example of this. You know, the first time anyone ever picked up a cigarette, it probably didn't feel too good. They probably did not enjoy their first cigarette, but they kept doing it until it formed a habit and it felt good. So if you're going to be doing anything, focus on what's good for you and push through. Now, we're coming to the end now. I just noticed the time. It's gone 8:01. So I really want to thank you for your time today. And I hope that you take note of what's in here and you apply what you need to be successful in business and to grow it. If you'd like to know more about anything I've shared today or anything that I might be able to help you with, please reach out to me via my website or on the email addresses here. My website is rosspepper.com. That's ROSSPEPPER.com, rosspepper.com, or via my email, info@rosspepper.com. So if there's any way that I might be able to help you, if there's any more information you want to know about a book to solve an issue or something like that, whatever it is, please get in touch. And I really look forward to helping you out with whatever your challenges are in your business. And if there's anything I can do to help you grow and accelerate that growth, please let me know.